So welcome everyone. We're coming live from the River Station Lodge in Uganda, and I've been traveling for the last few days with Wild Places. So they have absolutely fantastic properties off the beaten track, exactly what people are looking for now. And it's a very value driven safari in a sense. You've fantastic properties, but they're better prices than some of the other safari destinations, such as Botswana, Kenya, etc. So it really is a time to consider Uganda. And then as well, a lot of press releases are coming in that various collections of properties are opening up in Uganda in the years to come. So the time is ripe to actually travel to Uganda now. So what we're going to do is at the property, we have the manager, Gabriel, and he's going to show you the public areas of the property. And then we're going to come back and we can look at a sample room, such as the one that I'm staying in.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, nice to see you all. Emily's just going to follow me around with the video. I'm going to start here in the private dining room. So she'll pan across. You can see we've got a lovely dinner set up. Some lovely paintings from a local Ugandan artist, David Kigozi. So yeah, this is where the guests would come and enjoy a private setup and some proper fine dining. Emily's going to follow me into the main dining room. Very similar setup here. This is where the guests would sit and they'd be spread around the dining room. So there'd be a really good vibe in here when we're full. There's also lots of David Kigozi paintings, which is very much the theme of this area. Emily's going to follow me into the corridor that separates the dining area and the bar, but we just want to quickly show you our tuk-tuk, which we use to move the guests around at night for a bit of safety, because we do have lots of elephant and hippo that move through the camp at night. And then in here, we've got the main leisure area. We've got a lovely, beautiful bar that was built locally here in Uganda on site. We've got Alex and Barnabas. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hi. Alex is a barman and Barnabas is a senior butler here. But Emily will just show you around. We've got lovely seating areas where the guests can spread out. So lots of space to chill. And then if you follow me out here, we're going to go onto the deck, which gives you an amazing view of the Kazinga Channel, where we do a lot of outdoor dining, and there's also some outdoor seating. If you look carefully out by the channel, you'll see the evening set up by the fire, where people like to chill with a drink. Where you'd get your drink is from here. This evening, we've got a gin bar set up. So yeah, we've got lots of gins, many of which you'll recognize. We've got some local kikira, some moragi, which is a popular one in Uganda. And then we've got our snacks set up here to the right. And then like the real wow factor of this lodge is the 270-degree view that you have of the Ruwenzori Mountains all across that way. And then you'll see behind me the pond and the edge of the rift, and of course the Kazinga Channel. But yeah, that's pretty much our main area, guys. We love it, and we hope that many of you will come and see it too.
So that's definitely what we call barefoot luxury, isn't it?
Yes.
Great. Siobhan?
Were you running around barefoot, Gabriel?
Yeah, I have to take my shoes off. I do run around the camp too much, and they're covered in mud the whole time. Birkenstocks are a popular shoe choice for this camp.
And I saw my surprise sundowners, so it's no longer a surprise.
No, unfortunately not, but we're looking forward to sharing it with you, Siobhan. So.
I'm looking forward to enjoying it. So when we came over here, one of the ideas we had in mind was doing a photographic safari, like we've done in Tanzania and in Rwanda and Sri Lanka. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you just a short selection. And I've got Mark Richardson beside me, Adams Butler's photographer, and he is going to take you through the slides. We've just prepared a few, and then I'll show you the bedroom.
Yes, Siobhan. Of course, as you know, we've been having a wonderful time here. And the first couple shots are a great example. One of the benefits here that we've experienced is being able to get out for sundown at these locations, so that you've selected a spot and you're ready to go when the sun comes up. So
So
we've had
I'm
some-
just going to share the
Okay.
screen as well for you there, so you have it. And can you see that, Jill?
I'm muted. Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. So yes, again, these first two shots are a great example of what you're able to capture here on the sunrise. You have the Ugandan cob here silhouetted as the sun comes up behind the and on the plane there, and then some of the giraffes. We were graced by the giraffes showing up that morning, and it was a wonderful view as well. Yeah. This was one of the drives that we had gone on. We got onto a family, a full family with the lion and a couple lionesses. Both of the lionesses had cubs there, so that was fantastic. The other benefit was, we were the only vehicle there,
Yeah.
right? So
There wasn't one other vehicle when we were there.
one other vehicle.
Yeah.
So that is definitely a benefit from a photography, from a photographer's standpoint. This was, as you had mentioned, one of I think, a new lioness who had come on property, and so it's nice to be part of that process where you can take some photos that may help in the photo identification of a lot of the animals that would come in. And the malachite kingfisher. There's a tremendous amount of for all the bird enthusiasts out there. There are a lot of birds to grace your lens.
Ideal for twitchers, yeah.
Ideal for twitchers, and of course the shoebill, which was a fantastic experience to go out.
And it's one of the few places that you can actually see the shoebill. So again, not only for people who are interested in photography, but also for those who, like doing something that no one else has done.
And of course, as you're out doing all of these things, there are also a lot of other things going on that are, the local fishermen out fishing, and to also
And it's
experience.
amazing the catch they got as well. And that's another thing that hopefully Fergus and Jonathan will mention is the fishing here. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and hopefully it'll come back. And then how do I turn my video around maybe?
Can you walk with the laptop around, or?
I could. Yes, I could.
Got battery?
Yeah.
Don't
So
lose
if I do
this.
it this way, is that going to work?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to.
Not too fast, please.
No, not too fast. Okay. So I'm just going to walk quickly to the door, Gio, and then I'll go slow. So you come in here and just tell me that you can see.
can
Maybe
you put it
tilt the
down?
screen down a little bit,
Yes.
Siobhan.
Yeah. Just aim it down, because we're sealing a lot of the ceiling
Like
and not
that?
the floor. Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Actually. Okay. So you have there, like you've got a hat and a bag and everything that you can use, anything you need to use whilst you're in camp. Actually, there must be some way that I can actually do.
You
No.
go. Emma.
No, sorry, no, that's fine. So yeah, so you can see, okay, I'm going to show you this area first. So there's lots of things like the water bottles, cinnamon green is an amazing array of products. So there's, the insect repellent there. They give you a copy of your dinner menu for the day ahead, which is great. There's fantastic writing desk. Then you're seeing now the bed area. I was talking to two people who stayed here recently, and they said it was the most comfortable bed that they had ever slept in. Then just bringing you down, there's a cooler box there with drinks. Bringing you into the bathroom, huge bathroom, double vanities, which is something that clients always look for. A very large shower, again, those cinnamon and green products. Loo, and then plenty of closet space. And little things like, I know it sounds silly, but just having a light to put on your makeup It's something that you don't often get when you're on safari. So then I'm going to bring you out to something that's really unique as well, and that is a plunge pool. So coming out past the writing desk, you have two large day beds, another table. So like if you had a family or, you know, you're traveling with friends and you want to chat together in one room, an outside shower, and then an amazing plunge pool. So we often get Arab clients or, you know, people who want a bit of, you know, privacy when they're going for a little dip or for sunbathing. So it is perfect for that type of client as well. So just bringing you back there into the room and your final view of the bed there in the bedroom. And there's lots of light all over. Like, I don't know whether it's, maybe we should have put those lights on, but like little things like, you know, local products being used, the pods there as lampshades, etc. So it's the little details that make this property out of this world. So back over to you, Jill.
That's great. Perfect. We're going to show some two short promo videos just to give a sense of place of the outside and the location where they are. Just give me a second. Can you see it? I'm not getting the video. Can you guys see it?
No, we can't see
Oh,
it.
all right, just 2 seconds. What happened there? Let's try open it again. And I've got another one. Just give me another second. I had them already, but okay, let's try again. The second one. Will I get the video of the chimps as well, Siobhan?
I think show the chimps because it's still like something that you can do from River Station. So, and it's quite unusual. Although, as I did say, we're going line tracking tomorrow morning, which is fantastic. But if you want to show us a short little video, just the chimps. And this was when I was here earlier this year in May. And I went to the loo and then I heard someone banging on the door because we were going to look for the chimps, but the chimps actually found us.
Okay, I've got it here.
So it just shows you that you really do get to see the chimps, you know, and they can be quite close up. So we're going to go over to Jonathan now. Jonathan Wright is the founder of Wild Places, and he and Fergus, his son, have made this fantastic collection of properties that you're seeing now. So, Jonathan, it's over to you.
Hi, everybody. Yes, quick story of how Wild Places developed. I was born in Uganda. My father was a doctor here back in the 1960s, and I was lucky enough to go on safari on most of my holidays as a young child to Murchison Falls and Queen Elizabeth and Semliki and places. So I met the president in Washington back in the late 80s when he had just come into power. And he said to me, "You're a son of Uganda, you must come back and start a tourism business," which I did. It was quite early days in the country. And that's where it all started. And we went to Semliki. I was young and impetuous and wasn't quite sure about, where I should go and what I was doing. But we managed to sign a concession with the government. And so the journey began. And it's been quite a ride over the last 30 years, building clouds and all the other lodges. And luckily, more recently, we were able to persuade the Ugandan authorities to allow us to go into some remote areas of parks where no one's been before, and develop the infrastructure and the conditions we wanted for high-end tourism, which is, we wanted to be able to do our own walking, our own fishing, our own boat trips, working with the locals, and we did sign contracts to allow us to do that. We are very involved in community conservation. We've recently started our own foundation and raised over $1 million, which will be our budget for the current year, doing some wildlife reintroductions and so on. But we're really proud of our portfolio. I do have a lovely wife who's my partner in this, Pamela. Unfortunately, she's not in at the moment, but we hope we can welcome you to Wild Places and have an amazing journey with us. It's all of our lodges are in the wildlife parks in some of the prime locations, and we're very proud of what we've got at the moment, and we hope you'll be able to come and enjoy it. Thanks very much, Siobhan. I'll hand back to you guys.
And Jonathan, just there was one thing you said to me when we were talking the other day, and you said, where else can you be in 500,000 hectares and have it more or less all to yourself? So when we were in Papas the other night, and where the new Kulu Ora will be, is that, did I hear right? Is it 500,000 hectares more or less of private wilderness?
Yes. Basically, what we persuaded the government to do is to zone certain areas as what we call low impact zone. So there's restricted entry. So a lot of other people who are visiting the national park can't just come in. There is a higher fee rate to enter. There is management over lion sightings, how many vehicles and all those kind of things. So we're trying to put in sustainable tourism for the future. The 500,000 acres, well, the largest part of Murchison Falls National Park is on the South Bank. We're the only people on the entire South Bank out inside the park, nearly 2 hours drive from the nearest other property, right on the River Nile with nearly 70 kilometers of river to play in. We're still discovering a lot of it. We've opened up a lot of game trails, but I reckon we've got another 10 years of exploration. Semliki is 135,000 acres with us in it, and Chambura Game Reserve attached on two sides to Queen Elizabeth National Park. Again, we're the only operator.
Just lost the sound there. Has anyone else lost the sound?
Yeah, sound's gone.
Yeah, but I think you might be back. But the other thing to bear in mind is most of the Clouds is a little bit different, but all of the other properties, we're talking about Semliki, Apoka in the very north, which is very unusual as well, like it's off the beaten track. So if you those clients who really, really want to be off the beaten track and not see another car and really have a private experience, Wild Places are definitely the place to stay. So are you back with us, Jonathan?
Can you?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I am. So yes, I think unlike a lot of other properties in Uganda, we're really in the middle of the wildlife resource. So you're going to have the hippos around your room, loads of alleys. Lion sightings are almost private. We've got hundreds of strip pools on the River Nile for those who are keen fishermen. As you know, this country is second to none from birding in Africa. And yeah, it's really exciting times for us. We're really enjoying it.
Fantastic. Thanks a million, Jonathan. So we're going to go over to Fergus now. And Fergus, when you're telling us about the properties, will you also sort of give hints to people about, how best to do an itinerary and how your whole collection work together? Or even like on a secondary sort of market, if people have booked, a big 5 itinerary elsewhere, which is a shame if they have, but how they can add maybe the clouds experience to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the gorillas is a huge part of Uganda. It's kind of what draws our clients in, and we do see a lot of people coming into Uganda and doing short things, doing 2 to 3 days only, going and seeing the gorillas and then leaving, and that that hurts our hearts a little bit because Uganda is such a diverse destination. It is so much more than just those gorillas down south. It's hugely diverse. And I'm gonna share my screen here just so that we can look at a map of the properties. Unless Gio, you have that map available.
I do, but I can make you a co-host so you can share. Sorry, I should have done that.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah, we got it there.
Okay. Yeah, so here's a little map of Uganda. And as you've already heard, we do have a collection of properties that's spread out pretty much in every corner of the country. We started out with Semliki Safari Lodge, the first one that we opened back in the 90s. It's kind of our childhood playground in a way. It is where I had my first birthday, so somewhere that's very near and dear to us. We then opened Apoka Safari Lodge way up in Kidepo Valley National Park in the north, and this is a very different part of the country. Uganda is commonly known to be very mountainous, dense tropical rainforest. The mountain gorilla habitats, the chimpanzee habitats, and so on and so forth. And so the plains game often gets overlooked here. And so we do have destinations like Kidepo Valley National Park, as I said, very dry, arid, open savannas. Same with Murchison Falls, where we recently opened Papa's Camp. And we have another lodge in the works coming in Murchison Falls as well. We'll hear about that shortly. And then, of course, Clouds Mountain Gorilla Lodge. We hate to use the term flagship. I know Jonathan will have some words with me if I do. But it's kind of flopped into the position of being our flagship property just because of its popularity. If there is one Wild Places property that you've heard of so far, it's probably Clouds Mountain Gorilla Lodge, way down in the south on the southern part of Bwindi. And then, of course, our 2 properties in the Chambura Game Reserve. We have the River Station, which we've seen some lovely videos and walk-arounds so far. And of course, let's not forget Honey Bear Bush Camp right around the corner from the River Station. A slightly different offering, a little bit more authentic, fully under canvas, a classic safari experience compared to the opulence of the River Station, but with very similar wildlife. Now, in terms of a safari circuit, we firmly believe that this is one of the best, if not the best safari circuit on the continent of Africa. And we say that because of the diversity of the wildlife and all of the experiences. If you go and visit each of these properties, give us 14 days or so, and you do Apoka in Kidepo and Murchison Falls and Semliki and the Chambura Game Reserve, and of course Bwindi for the gorillas. It's so incredibly diverse. That covers the dry northern savannas. It covers the roaring River Nile, the Ruwenzori Mountains, the second tallest peaks in Africa, and chimpanzees, mountain gorillas, all of those elephant, lions and leopards and cheetah up north as well. And bird life is second to none in Uganda. Almost half of all of Africa's bird life is found in this country. So it is hugely diverse. It is a paradise for birders. There are daily flights between each of these wilderness areas, so getting about is really easy these days. So you can be watching lion in the morning and then the next day tracking gorillas down in Bwindi. with those daily flights servicing each of these wilderness areas. Most of your clients are going to be flying in and out of Entebbe, but let's not rule out the possibility of arriving or departing from Kigali. It can work out quite well that way. Clouds Mountain Gorilla Lodge, because it's in the southern part of Bwindi, is only about a 5 to 6 hour drive from Kigali with that border crossing. So it can be a little bit easier to come in or depart from Rwanda rather than coming into Uganda. So worth bearing that in mind. And of course, we talk a lot about flying safaris, but overlanding is a wonderful way of experiencing this destination. We feel in order to truly experience the country, the people, the culture, then you do have to get out on the road and get your hands dirty a little bit. And what we call the southern circuit is very, very drivable. Semliki to Queen Elizabeth is only about 2 to 3 hours of driving. We like to elongate it a little bit, make a few stops along the way, but so that's very easy to do. And then same with Queen Elizabeth Town down to Bwindi, depending on where your lodge is. It'll be 5 to 6 hours of driving. We like to do it a little bit differently and include a hike across Bwindi, which is fantastic. Getting into the proper old growth, seeing some lovely waterfalls along the trail, and breaking apart your drive with a little bit of a hike. So those southern properties are very easy to combine by land, but of course for those that are short on time, then flying is certainly an option as well. Did you want me to go into the other properties at the moment, or are we going to jump over to the others?
I think if you want to talk, well, actually, just to draw the attention there to the rhino sanctuary as well. So if people did drive, like I know you're introducing white rhino into some of the areas where the camps are, but if people were worried about missing out on white rhino, there's the rhino sanctuary there. So maybe we'll go into you talking about papas, but if Gio wants to show the 2 videos on the rhinos, I think it's 30 seconds and 1.5 minutes, so that if you're driving from Entebbe there in the map and going up to Merchant Falls to where Papa's is or Kulu or it will be, we stopped this time. I didn't do it the last time I was here, but we found it very enjoyable. And we actually did, they were up and active. So, it's something to bear in mind if people were choosing, like thinking that there wasn't white rhino to see in Uganda. So can you show those ones? And then maybe we go back to Fergus and he can tell us about Papa's.
Yeah. Let me just make this. What happened to my video?
He's not moving very fast, to you.
Video is not moving?
Well, I don't know. It's not moving my side very fast. It's moving, but very slowly.
Oh.
But maybe he
That's how close you can get to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we've got the
sound isn't on that one.
Sorry, you've no sound?
No, and it stopped.
Okay. What's happening
We
today?
can see Fergus and myself looking at the screen.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, it's not letting me put the sound on now. Interesting.
There's Yolanda is just saying that Uganda is much more than the gorillas, which is true. One of the best places she's been to in 40 years as a travel agent.
I'm glad to hear it.
I think that's the message you're all trying to get out as well, isn't it?
That's right.
So, G, will we just go straight to Fergus and he can tell us about the properties?
Let's try again. Let's see what happened. Share. Can you hear?
It's not. No.
No sound? Okay.
No.
Back to you, Fergus, and I'll try to fix this.
Okay, yeah. So Rhino, Siobhan, thank you for bringing that up. You know, Uganda for a little while has not been considered a true Big Five safari destination, and we don't like to use that term either. But it has been a bit of a detractor from Uganda, and it means that people are more inclined to look elsewhere for their safari, where they're going to see those big things, the rhino. What we do have in Uganda is the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary, which is on the road to Murchison Falls National Park. So again, for those overland trips, it's an excellent stop off. It's a huge success story of captive rhino breeding. So they are captive. They do have a rather large area to freely roam, but you can go and do a walking experience with them, which is absolutely lovely. And the big news as well, Siobhan, you alluded to it for us a moment ago, but rhino are being reintroduced into the wild in Uganda, finally, after all this time. So we will have wild rhino once again within a matter of months' time. This is happening up in Kidepo Valley National Park, so up at Apoka, and a really exciting news for us to be able to have those as another draw to this destination. So I will talk about Papa's camp now. Gio, did you have some of those photos?
I have them. I just don't know what happened with my sound.
And just whilst you're looking for those, Gio, there's a question there from Alana Fergus about vaccinations. Now, the only vaccination we were asked to have was yellow fever coming in. And applying for the visa, you can do it online. You have to show your yellow fever certificate, your passport, and what else did you show, Mark?
A passport.
A passport photo. And it's $50 for US, I know, because we've just done that. It's free for Irish people. And then, yoo-hoo! And, I don't know about Canada, Fergus. Is it $50 as well, or?
Yes, it is. It is for most countries. It's 50.
Mm.
As you mentioned already, yellow fever is the only required vaccination to enter, unless, of course, for medical reasons. Then, if you have a waiver from your doctor, that will be sufficient as well. But yellow fever is the only required one. Of course, there will be a whole plethora of other recommended ones. So, of course, before travel, speak to a doctor, a travel doctor, and they'll make the right recommendations for you based on the destination. But the only requirement is yellow fever, and of course we heavily recommend a malaria prophylaxis as well, as there is malaria present in some of these regions.
And the good news about yellow fever is you only have to get it once in your lifetime now, and it lasts forever. So come to Uganda, get your yellow fever vaccination, and then you can come back again and again and again.
That's right.
So let's keep us updated with those videos. Should we go straight on to Fergus's properties?
Yes, I can't see is your camera gone, Siobhan?
Yeah, I turned it off.
Oh, okay. Let me, the videos just, I can put them on, but I don't know why the sound
Try
isn't
once more,
playing.
and then it's up gracefully, I think, on the videos, on that one.
That one. So can I was gonna try to jump to one of the ones that doesn't have as many sound, because that one he's just talking.
Okay, well, these are Papa's.
Can you hear the sound?
No. Can't hear the sounds on anything.
This one doesn't have any sound, but
There should have been some background sound. But this is Papa's at sunrise. So when we're saying Papa's now, remember, this means it's also Kulu Oro at sunrise, because they're in the same area. But it really is beautiful. Like as Mark showed you in the photos, it's a fantastic place. And you've got all the Ugandan cob there and the sun, glowing on them both in the golden hour in the evening and at sunrise. It's amazing. And plenty of giraffes in the distance. You might as well show as well now, Gio, the sunset one.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening with the videos aren't coming through. Okay, maybe it's because I sent them by WhatsApp.
So that was the sunrise. That's the sunset.
So I actually took this in May, Fergus, as you probably realize.
Yeah.
But that was at Papa's camp. So you're overlooking the Nile and the sound of the Nile. Like to fall asleep with that sound is absolutely amazing. And, it's just the birds are fantastic. the fishing, which hopefully you'll talk about as well, because I'm sure there's people who book groups of fishermen or fisherwomen as well. But like that's what it looks like. The sunrise and sunset is amazing. You had 2 other videos for Papa's Stew, didn't you? You had the hyena as well. And then Fergus can talk more about that, because that's where the hyena are coming back to a den that they left. And we have hyena clubs. So if you want to just show those 2, and then we can concentrate on the properties images.
Yeah.
So this
we had
again-
hyenas and the lions.
Yeah. So
Again,
these are
there's-
these are the new hyenas that are they actually weren't scared of the car because they haven't seen cars. And you know, the team at Papa's were delighted to see them when they came back to a den. But they're so cute. They're really cute. They're like little teddy bears.
And the lions.
So again, just we mentioned earlier that the line's coming back to the area as well. So that's the thing about this area, is that it's so like it's so raw, and so like, you know, they don't even know all the lines that are there. They're 43 at the moment, and there's more coming in. So it's just like you can't describe the place. I think Julius was calling me Mama Papas because I keep on talking about how much I loved it. So gee, we go back to Fergus there.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So all of those little clips were from Papa's Camp, which is one of our newest properties in Murchison Falls National Park. We already heard about the size of the area, as Jonathan already mentioned for us. You know, it's about a 2-hour drive for the next closest property. So if you see another vehicle here, it's because they're lost. You know, it really is our own private little playground. It's technically not a private reserve, but it is a newly allocated low use zone. So there is a slightly elevated park fee. If you're familiar with the Masai Mara conservancies, it works fairly similar to that, where there's a national park and then areas where there's more restricted use at an elevated entry fee, and so that just deters some of the crowds and makes sure that there's a lower impact on the environment from all of the visitors and all of the vehicles. So we are the only ones within that area, right on the banks of that roaring River Nile. What we haven't mentioned so much is the fishing that we're able to do here in the Nile. Marcus and Steph, I'm sure you guys can speak a little bit about that once we get to you as well. But I understand it's been turning on and it's been getting fantastic. For those that don't know, we fish for Nile perch, which is one of the most sought after freshwater sport fish in the world. We do practice catch and release. So it is a big hot spot for that. Of course, it's not just a fishing property, but to be able to combine all of those things in these wilderness areas is really exceptional, and a huge variety of opportunities for visiting clients.
Fergus,
Now the camp is.
Fergus, did you hear how much the fish was that they caught the other day? What weight?
I saw the picture of Thomas lying next
70
to him on the
pounds and
ground. Yeah.
130 pounds.
Yeah, beautiful. So we're getting a lot of luck with those. So if you do have clients that are keen or just a little bit interested, it can be a really exciting way to do it. We do fish from the bank, not from boats. So it is an adventure in itself. Fishing on foot on the edge of the river with hippos everywhere and crocodiles everywhere and rushing rapids. So really, really beautiful and adventurous experiences. Now the camp itself is very small and intimate. It is just 5 tents, and fully under canvas, kind of akin to a migration camp in a way. Outdoor bucket showers, so a very old-fashioned and authentic safari experience, but also top of the line and fully luxury as well. A very different experience to Kulawara, which will be opening shortly, and Marcus and Steph can tell us a little bit about that. Do we need any more details about Papa's, or should I move on from that?
I think if you have any, do you have any photos to show or anything?
I do. I can absolutely show some Papa's photos.
And what we'll do is the videos that didn't play, we'll put them up on YouTube and send links out to everyone with the recording so they can get the sound on them. I probably did something wrong when I sent them by WhatsApp.
You should be able to share. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So Papa's Camp here in Murchison Falls. And of course, it is one of the most powerful waterfalls in the world here on the River Nile. About 500 cubic meters of water per second are forced through a crack that's only about 10 meters wide. So, you know, the ground shakes when you're near it, and the spray, it is really quite stunning. Of course, lots of lovely giraffe. There is a Nile perch. That is not the big one we were talking about a few moments ago. In fact, that's a rather small one. But still catching one that size in that fast current is a hell of a battle. So here's the property itself. As you can see, sort of very authentic safari. This is the proper bush. This really is a true raw, untouched wilderness area. Right on the rapids of the Nile. Siobhan, as you mentioned, you know, the roaring rapids do kind of lull you to sleep with a bit of white noise. Very well appointed, very comfortable. And it is hot up here, so we do have lots of fans, but also a lovely breeze tends to come off of those rapids and cool and come into the camp and cool you off that way. So very small and intimate, very authentic, but absolutely lovely. This is you really do feel like you're deep in the bush and among the first people to explore this area. Absolutely beautiful property. And that's what I've got for Papa. Should we move on from there?
Yes, go on.
Onto Kidepo?
Yeah.
Sure. And then I will touch on Napoca as well, just to show some photos of it. As you can see, it is a very different part of the country to these other regions that we operate in. This is very dry and arid. Huge herds of buffalo, some of the largest herds of buffalo in Africa, and in the dry season, when they do congregate, it's kind of like a mini migration in itself. A herd of buffalo, several thousand strong in itself, is a sight to see. We do see quite a lot of pangolin up in this area as well, and of course, lions in trees. The truth is, lions climb trees wherever lions and trees coexist, but we do see them quite a lot all over in many different parts of Uganda. The pool here at Apoka is a little bit of a feature. It's very unique, hewn into these massive rocks, icy cold down at the bottom, and so it does stay cold all year round, and it is hot up here. Culturally as well, where we are here in Kidepo Valley National Park is in the Karamoja region of Uganda. And Uganda alone is a hugely diverse cultural destination. There's almost 50 tribal groups in the country and even more languages than that spoken. So as you travel around doing an overland trip, please do some cultural activities, because everywhere you go, they'll be slightly different. They'll have a slightly different dialect, different cultural traditions, different dances, different songs, and all sorts of different differences and nuances and systems of belief. So it can be a really interesting cultural experience visiting this destination as well. Big outdoor bathtubs. We do have a thing for outdoor bathtubs here at Wild Places. These ones at Apoka are lovely and huge. You could probably fit 4 or 5 people in there if you wanted to. But absolutely stunning views over those mountains and the golden savannas. And a quick look at the rooms there as well. And there we go.
I don't know if you can hear the hippos behind me.
No, I
Should we
couldn't.
go? Should we go over to Stephanie and then Marcus to tell us about what they did when they were involved with Jonathan and Pamela in, helping them create their product, and also about the new product coming on stream as well. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Siobhan. Hi. So I'm not in the bush at the moment. I'm actually sitting in Kampala, and I'm very jealous of you being at River Station. I can see Marcus is in the bush. He is up at Papa's Camp or Murchison Falls at the moment. So I'm going to start a little bit with our history. So we've been joining Wild Places Africa just about under 2 years ago, and we were asked to create these these amazing new properties in the wilderness. And just hearing what Jonathan was telling us and Fergus was telling us, we're quite excited about joining them. We've rarely found, you know, owners of properties that have so much passion for conservation, for wildlife, for the wilderness as such. So off we went to Chambura Game Reserve first, which we did not expect to come to a spot where you see hundreds and hundreds of hippos and crocodiles and elephants that were not so friendly at the beginning, but have now calmed down and are all around River Station. I'm sure you have seen some already. To get all the way up to Murchison Falls. And the first time, since we've heard about River Station already, I'm going to concentrate a little bit on Murchison Falls. But the first time we got there, it took us from 5 o'clock in the morning all the way to 6 o'clock in the evening to get there. And we internally joking about, you know, it was always the 6 p.m. sundown when we would arrive at Murchison Falls, no more we would leave. So what we found was this incredible wildlife area. We're talking about the size already, with hundreds of buffaloes and lions at the beginning, still quite shy, and Rothschild giraffes, which are really rare giraffes to see in Africa in the first place. And here we went, you know, through the bush with our pangas in hand. It was actually Marcus doing all of the hard work, finding a route to get to where Papa's camp is today. And Jonathan had found this amazing property. So he started wrecking the area already many years before we got there, and started the concession agreements with the Ugandan wildlife authorities. So by the time we got there, he showed us this beautiful spot where Kulora is going to be, and it brings us to the name why it's called Kulora. We're being asked that all the time. So Kulora is basically means river in 2 different local languages. So imagine this when you close your eyes, a Papa's camp on the roaring Nile. And from the side, you have the Kisangani coming through, which is a beautiful sort of seasonal river that joins the Nile and creates an extra amount of diversity. So that's where Kulora is going to be. With Papa's camp, we spend a lot of time developing tracks, and maybe Marcus can go a little bit over sort of activities and the diversity of the area and what we've been doing so far.
Yeah, hi everyone. So Marcus is my name. As you can see, I'm up in my safari vehicle at my network tree. And yeah, excuse the hair. That's what happens when you wear a hat in the sun all day long. The sun has just set. Unfortunately, we've just missed it in the bush. I've been in the bush up here for about a month now, and I haven't seen another car besides Wild Places Africa cars in that whole month. To get back onto the fishing, Fergus had touched on it briefly, Jonathan had touched on it briefly. We've created about 35 to 40 kilometers of fishing trails along the Nile River. It's been raining quite a lot lately, but it's dry now. It's been dry for about 2 weeks. Fishing's picked up. We've caught some really amazing fish. The biggest one, just under 140 pounds. That was 2 days ago. And we've caught a couple more in the 60, 70, 80 pound range. We can offer fly fishing for smaller perch. We can offer fly fishing for yellowfish. We can offer the whole experience. I mean, if you want to come and be part of the live bait catching, usually I send a team, some staff members out to catch live bait for the larger fish. But if you want to be part of the live bait catching all the way to catching your own perch with your own live bait, we can absolutely arrange that. So yeah, game drives, we usually start really early up here. Best time 5:45. We've got a fire going early in the morning, so you can sit by the fire while you have your tea and coffee right on the Nile. And then we head out really early up to the plains. The plains is about 7 kilometers drive from the camp. And we get up there really early so we can listen out for the lions, so we can hear them, which helps us to find them. It's not like the Mara. There's no one else here helping us to find the big cats. It's just us. So we've sort of gotten good at listening out for them at the right times and knowing the areas that they do prefer. But yeah, it's not, of course, in the Mara, you can just look at where all the vehicles are parked and standing. You pick up your binoculars and you're like, well, that's where the lions are. We have to work a bit harder to find them, but our teams become very efficient at doing that.
But the other thing that
So
So
go ahead, Siobhan.
the other thing that's good is that, like, for example, with Thomas there in Papa's and the other young guides, is that you're training your own guides and the quality is amazing. Like Papa's, when you consider it's a small, I use the word rustic, but like I know traditional camp, but it's real traditional. It's not like what people pretend is traditional, but the guides are fantastic. And it's like the quality of the guiding you're getting, as well as the food, which was out of this world. You know, it just has everything going for, like, I love this property, River Station. I've just arrived and I'm sure I'll be, you know, extolling it as much as Papa's, but Papa's and the future Kuluora are amazing. And here is fantastic to relax. Like, it's a totally different concept in each of the properties. Like here is sort of like you just want to sit and relax and let the safari come to you rather you go to the safari, you know. So, and
Yeah.
I remember going to the room, there was just a foundation when I was here in the end of April, beginning of May. And now to see what you've done here is fantastic. And all the attention to detail that Jonathan and Pam did, like, you know, the bar stools in the bar and everything, you know, the way that they twirl around a little bit, and it's beautiful.
So maybe adding to that on the new properties, like one thing that we're all really proud of is of course the wildlife. In the concession up at Papa's Camp, we've identified over 40 different lines already in our area. So that's huge, not only for game dives and safari, but for the whole concept. So conservation is a big thing, and we've included into the new properties. It hasn't come up yet. That the lodges are actually sustainable. So all the new lodges are running pure solar. With the sampling systems for our water and all of that sort of stuff in place. So we're quite proud of them. So the first lodges overall in Uganda that'll be running off solar. In fact, the wild places lodges except for clouds because the sun is missing there a little bit. I think the new Kuluora, if everybody can close their eyes, imagine a beautiful classic safari, opulent, over the top crystal silver with view into the night from wherever you be in your bathroom, in your shower, in your bed, in your lounge, or outside in your little private plunge pool. The Nile is going to be the feature, and then obviously the wildlife and everything else in the back.
Well, even like if just those two properties for, you know, sometimes like some of us have sort of precious clients, and with the new property Kuluora and then also here, they'd be perfect for those that want that extra bit of luxury, you know, when they're traveling.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. And one thing I want to point out about Murchison quickly as well, we have not mentioned it much, but one of the highlights of Murchison is definitely night safaris. We've seen the hyenas a little earlier. But Murchison, the property and the flexibility and the being able to do whatever we want to do at whatever time gives a great opportunity to see hyenas, to see probably in the future some leopards at nighttime, and just enjoy that after dark experience because we don't have to come home.
Yeah. So Fergus, should we go back to you now? And you can tell us about the other properties.
Yeah. Yes,
and thanks a million,
can.
Marcus and Stephanie. And thank you for spoiling us for the last few days as well. Yeah.
You're welcome.
We were sad to go, but
really welcome. I hope that everybody will enjoy and you'll be back soon.
I was hoping that Fergus could maybe quickly put up the picture of that big fish, but he probably doesn't have it ready on his laptop.
I don't have it ready. I don't have it ready on my laptop. It's on my.
Can I do it from my phone? Can I do it from my phone?
Try and do it.
Let me try. So it says share. So I push.
Because like.
Yeah, photos. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Here we go.
Because all of you must have clients who would love fish in the Nile. It's the Nile.
Okay, so here we go. That's Thomas. Thomas is our fishing guide. He's also one of our safari guides. We have taught him how to fish.
Love with the fish.
we have taught him how to fish, and he is also the master of this fish. He caught it himself. I was there with him, and he did it all from beginning to end by himself. So a very good fisherman this young man has become.
And maybe quick on Thomas, he started off as the first guy in the camp with Marcus as sort of like a camp boy and a casual. And now he's a qualified safari guide and fishing guide. So well done, Thomas.
Yeah, it's a really great success story. Sorry, I'm just going to add 1 minute on Thomas because when I came out here by myself, sort of with a little tent to make the road network for the trucks to come in, I had asked the national park, the community warden, to help me with 2 sort of employees that can help me keep the camp clean, can help me, yeah, just with whatever I need help me go into the bush that I'm not by myself. And so he ended up sending me one, and that was Thomas. That was on 20th of August last year. So Thomas was our very first employee, and we've since helped him get a driving license. And you can see now he is a fishing guide as well.
It's fantastic. Well, Thomas and Julius were teasing me because when the new line came in, they said that she was strong, she walked fast, but she'd short legs. So they decided to call the new line Siobhan, but she also had hairy ears. So I hope that's that's not something that I have. But really, Thomas is amazing. So well done to him and to yourselves for, coaching and bringing out that excellence and that professionalism in him and the other guides that you have throughout all the properties in Wild Places.
Thank you, Siobhan. Over to you, Fergus.
Thanks, Marcus and Siobhan. So I'm about to share my screen one more time, and we're going to take a quick peek at the first lodge that we opened, Semliki Safari Lodge. Are we all looking at the screen here?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, so Semliki was the first lodge that we opened with, the one that that Jonathan and Pamela, my parents, started out with back in the 90s. As I mentioned earlier, this is where I had my first birthday. So it's somewhere that's very near and dear to us. It is not a typical safari destination, not a typical safari experience. It is a little bit more experiential here. Everything in Semliki is just slightly quirky. We do have chimpanzees here as well, and we work very closely with the chimpanzee research project that have been studying these chimps since about the same time that we built the lodge in the game reserve. Now they've been studying this particular group of chimpanzees because they are somewhat different to their relatives an hour and a half, 2 hours away in Kibale. And in different areas of Uganda. These are dry habitat chimpanzees, and they've adapted to this unique habitat that Semliki provides, which is a fabulous blending of savannas and riparian gallery rainforests, wetlands, and borassus forests, and all sorts of different microbiomes in this area. And these chimpanzees have adapted to this environment so much that their skeletal structure has started to change, and their femur is a little bit straighter, their cranium is shaped slightly differently, and their behavior is slightly different as well. And so the researchers are sort of suggesting that we're essentially witnessing evolution in process here, which is a little bit scary, but really quite a spectacular thing to be a part of. So we like to go into the forest with our clients and with these researchers, and you get a great background of knowledge about chimpanzees as a species and what makes our chimpanzees here in Semliki a little bit special. Here in Semliki as well, it might be one of the better places in Africa to see forest elephant. Here we have both savanna and forest elephant. And of course, to someone that hasn't been on safari before, they'll look at one or the other and not really know the difference. But to someone that has seen many elephant before, there are a few dead giveaways. The intense pale eye of a forest elephant does stand out, as does the shape of the ears, and of course the tusks as well are a bit straighter, a bit narrower. And so here in Semliki, we do see both savanna and forest elephant occasionally moving around in the same herds. We love to get out on foot. That's true for everywhere that we operate. Same at Papa's camp, same at Honey Bear in the river station, and up at Apoka as well. We feel that walking is one of the best ways to experience the bush. We saw some shoebill photos earlier already. We do have a very high success rate in finding shoebill here at Semliki, in the wetlands on the edge of Lake Albert, and a huge variety of bird life here in Semliki. So it's not about the big things here. It's not about the cats. It's not about the lion. There are loads of leopard here. You'll hear them every night, but you will not see them. They're very, very shy in this area. But it's about those other things. The bird life is second to none. Within the Torres Semliki Game Reserve, where the lodge is located, and the Semiliki National Park just around the corner. There's over 600 species of birds found here, over 20 of which are endemic to this area. You can only find them in this little corner of the Central African rainforest, which is spectacular. So if you do have some birders that want to see some Congolese bird species that maybe isn't comfortable traveling to the Congo, then Uganda and Semliki is a really good bet to come and find some of those species. It's a fantastic little park, and one thing that makes it really special is the mornings. At around 6:30 in the morning, the forest just bursts into life with the sound of the colobus monkeys and the birds and the chimpanzees all screaming and calling with a wonderful wake-up call. We like to call it the dawn chorus. And we've just finished a little bit of a refurb here as well, a bit of a soft refurb with some new textiles and furniture. So it's looking lovely. I mentioned how diverse the habitats here at Semliki are. So for those that have a couple of days to spend here, we like to do our bush dining and cocktails in different areas of the park. So that you really get a feeling for the diversity of the habitats in this area. Here's the savannas and then the forest cocktails, and the borassus forests and wetlands as well. So a whole load of different experiences and different wildlife to be found in those different areas as well. And again, outdoor bathtubs. This is this is Pamela. Everybody wears boots in their bathtub, don't they? But we do love outdoor tubs here at Wild Places, and just lovely views over the forest canopy. We have been having quite a lot of forest elephant moving around in the bushes near the lodge, which is lovely, and just a very experiential place to visit. And very off the beaten track as well. As again, we are the only ones operating within this game reserve, so it's our little playground, as with all of the places that we operate in.
So, Fergus, do you want to go on to clouds?
Yeah, I'm just gonna find the right part of the presentation here so that I'll do
Okay,
that.
so
Here we
just
go.
whilst you're doing that, just to say that I did the chimp experience again yesterday. I did it before, and the rangers are out of this world, and the researchers are out of this world, and it is 2 hours that you would do every single day because they are just top of their game, and what you learn and what you feel as you walk through the forest is amazing. And looking at those, the prints of the knuckles in the sand and how they make the chimps make the wells is just fantastic.
It is, and being able to get that great background of knowledge from these people that do spend pretty much every single day in the forest with these animals is wonderful. And Siobhan, you were mentioning the wells that they dig in the riverbank there, and these chimps when they go and drink from the river, they don't just go straight to the water, use their hands, or drink straight from the water itself. They dig little wells in the sand on the riverbank. They wait for the water to filter into those wells, and then they actually taste it. They get a leaf, dip it into the wells, and they taste it. And then they might discard that leaf, dig a new well, and then they'll do it again. And you'll find loads of these little wells dug into the riverbank that the chimpanzees are drinking from. But they'll only drink from ones that have a specific pH level. So it's like they're playing this wine tasting game, which is crazy to think about, and how they're able to detect such subtle differences between those wells that are dug in the same place is remarkable.
Amazing.
So it is great to get that knowledge.
And just one quick question that came in there was, do you drive to the camp only, or are there other options? So for any itinerary, it can be just a drive, or it can be a fly and drive, or fly only.
Here at Semliki is either or. We do have our own private airstrip inside of the game reserve. So it is possible to do those flights. It's not serviced as regularly. It is done on request if you meet a minimum number of people on the flight. But you can certainly fly to Semliki. The good thing about it, though, is that it's very close to the rest of some of Uganda's most popular tourist destinations, like Kibale Forest, Kibale National Park, another chimpanzee hotspot. And of course, Queen Elizabeth National Park, Chimbura Game Reserve, and our other properties, Honey Bear Bush Camp and the River Station. So by road or by air, it's very easy either way, and is a very good add-on to that southern circuit. And it just works great on any other circuit because the things that you find in Simliki are going to be different to the things you've seen everywhere else. You may have been to the Masai Mara and the Serengeti and the Kruger and some of Africa's greatest wilderness areas. You won't have seen the things that we have in Simliki, and that's what makes it really special.
Brilliant. So now we're on to the gorillas and clouds.
Yes, Clouds Mountain Gorilla Lodge. As I said before, if there is one of our properties you're already familiar with, it is likely this one. And where we are here is in the southern part of Bwindi Impenetrable National Park. I'll start by talking about access here. We do normally recommend flying depending on the client's itinerary. But Kisoro Airstrip is about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive from the lodge. And that's usually the airstrip that we're flying to. You can also fly to Kihihi, but that's rather a longer drive, or you have to do the hike across the forest to get there. Now, one thing to notice, to take note of with Bwindi is that if you're staying in the southern part of Bwindi, it means you have to do your gorilla trekking in the south, and vice versa. If you're staying in the north, where the vast majority of the lodges are located, then you must also be tracking your gorillas in the north. So what makes us unique in the southern part of Bwindi here is our access to a gorilla habituation experience. We're the only ones in Africa able to offer this. They don't do it in Rwanda, and there's only one group available for it here in Uganda. And so for an elevated fee, you can do a 4-hour gorilla trekking experience. That's 4 hours with the gorillas, so the clock starts once you encounter them, and then goes on for 4 hours. So it's a much more in-depth experience. And I've been tracking many times before, Siobhan. I know that you have as well now. But with a typical gorilla trek in either Uganda or Rwanda, you have 1 hour, and the clock does start when you meet them. And often around the 55-minute mark, the rangers and guides are going to be tugging your shirts to pull you out of there. But having the flexibility of staying a little bit longer, and not having to be dragged out of the forest kicking and screaming, not wanting that lovely experience to end, it makes the world of a difference. You know, you're traveling a long way to see these animals. You might as well spend a little bit more time in the forest and see them longer. So that's a really big game changer for us.
And having done both Rwanda and Uganda, it is not true that the experience in Rwanda is better. So I've done both, and it annoys me now when I hear people say that, and it is much better value in Uganda as well. So just to make sure we're putting it out there.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Siobhan. It is very true. Of course, the difficulty of your trek will vary significantly. It depends. It's wildlife. It depends on the animals, where they are on the day, the weather conditions. You know, for most of the time, this you're not walking on trails here. This is bushwhacking, and it will be tough no matter how long or how short it is. But it's impossible to predict the length of your trek. It can be long, it can be short, and that's true for it in Rwanda as well. So we've been fighting that rhetoric for a long time as well, Siobhan. And of course, another huge selling point for us as Uganda as a whole is that our gorilla permits cost $800 per person, compared to the 1,500 that it is in Rwanda. So a really big selling point for us. Now, Clouds here on the southern part of Bwindi is only 5 minutes away from the Inkaringo trailhead for the gorilla trekking. That's a 5-minute walk, so we really are right on top of it. These are the views from the property, and those are the Virunga volcanoes. If any of you have been to Rwanda before, you will have seen those, but from the other side. And absolutely spectacular views. In fact, we've been seeing more and more the active lava lake in the Nyiragongo crater, and the other active volcano in the Virunga range has been glowing and been quite active lately. So at nighttime, on a clear night, you can see this eerie glow and a smoke plume from some of those volcanoes, which is quite lovely in itself. You'll see why we called it Clouds. We are way up at altitude here, over 2,000 meters above sea level. So when those clouds billow in, it's rather lovely, but rather chilly. So we have loads of cozy fireplaces around in the main lodge and in each of the rooms. There are 8 standalone stone cottages here, each with their own fireplace, each with their own private butler service as well. And just very cozy. At all of our properties, we've sort of prioritized getting furniture that you really want to make yourself at home and kick your shoes off, get your feet up, and really relax and make yourself cozy and comfortable. The dining is fantastic. We have an organic garden here that we encourage guests to go and explore themselves. Maybe go with the chef and choose the things that you want to have for your meal if you wish. We've also been bringing in some members of the local community to learn how we're growing, what we're growing, and providing them with some seeds so that we're now purchasing some of our produce from them as well. So involving the local community. And it is the community that makes us special here at Clouds. Clouds is unique because it is actually owned by the Inkaringo community. So we were approached by the Africa Wildlife Foundation nearly 20 years ago now to build Clouds Mountain Gorilla Lodge in this area, because at the time there was no tourism happening in the southern part of Bwindi. And so in order for conservation to work, in order for wildlife conservation to work, it has to include the local communities. We can't leave them out any longer, and they do have to receive the economic benefits from tourism and from wildlife. And so with the ultimate goal of protecting the mountain gorilla and the habitat, we got involved with this local community and built this lodge. It is theirs. We run it, we hire locally, we're training the local staff, and the concept is that one day they will inherit the lodge from us and take over the day-to-day operations, and we'll walk away. And it'll be their business to do what they wish with. In the meantime, until that day comes, they do receive a portion from every single bed night, which goes directly into a community conservation fund. And they've raised an extraordinary amount of money that's doing a world of good in these areas, improving the infrastructure, developing water projects, because we are at altitude. Most of the water we get is collected from rainwater, and so permanent water can be a challenge in this area. They've developed schools and orphanages. They've sponsored scholarships for some of their students, built clinics, and they've donated a portion of land. They created a new buffer zone between the parkland and the community to prevent the gorillas from coming and raiding crops. They planted tea because gorillas don't eat tea, and tea is a cash crop, so the community goes and harvests that and sells it as well. So it's a win-win-win all around. It is a wonderful success story of community conservation at work, and it's a model that we feel should be copied across the continent a little bit more. So that's what makes Clouds special. We feel it might be the best lodge in the country, and I think we might have changed our mind with the River Station having now just opened. That might be the best lodge in the country now, but really, really exciting to have this wonderful circuit and these lovely properties in these areas. But that's what I've got for Clouds.
Fantastic. So we had 3 videos, but we're worried about showing them in case the sound isn't there of the gorillas. But one of them, I think it was when I was with you in May, that like the gorillas actually passed by me. So I don't think people realize how close again you can get to the gorillas. Like you'll see them in the distance, and the rangers are very, very generous, and they will bring you up close to the gorilla so that you really do get a close encounter with them. I can't believe everyone stayed on for an hour, and it's an hour and 13 minutes now. The first hour we didn't really talk about gorillas, which is great. So it shows you the breadth of product and experiences that you have when you visit Uganda, and it's definitely not all about the gorillas. And it's good to mix and match, the properties, because they all offer something different, and they all have different very distinctive, different animal experiences. Fergus, is there anything you want to add before we head off?
Yeah, I do. Just one other thing. We've been talking a lot about Uganda as a standalone destination because that's how we feel to give the destination the justice it deserves. You do have to do a bit of an in-depth thing. But we do understand that most clients are short on time, and it's a bloody long way to travel to these destinations. And so I just wanted to mention that there are daily flights between Entebbe and Kenya and Tanzania and Rwanda and many other safari destinations in the country. And actually the flights from Kisoro and Kihihi from Bwindi can route through Entebbe to get you into the Masai Mara or the Serengeti on the very same day. So if you did want to combine some of Africa's greatest wildlife experiences with the gorilla trekking and the Great Migration, you can be doing one on one day and then the next day be doing the other, thanks to those flights combining these destinations. So really, really easy stuff if you are doing a bit of a trip exploring different countries, it's very easy to do, and our properties work very, very well because of those flights. So I do appreciate that most clients are looking for something along those lines. But at least if you're going to come to Uganda and combine it with another destination, come to our gorillas, but also come up to Chembura Game Reserve or something. Give us a few more days, and we'll show you some other exceptional experiences. So some very easy combination trips to be done.
And even if they only have, like, we find most of our African trips for people from North America are 10 days. So they could combine 3 properties and, you know, and get a good feel and a good different experience in all of them. Just, there are some questions coming in about, a lot of people saying very interesting presentation. I'm surprised everyone stayed on for so long. The other thing is just people ask there about porters. There's no problem with porters for any of the walks you're doing. There's lots of porters, there's lots of rangers, there's lots of different people coming with you, and also the guides from Wild Places will come with you and help you with bags. They'll even carry your water and your camera. Then they're asking if there's any trade rates to visit the properties. Fergus, there is, so they can contact you. We can give out the contact details if they want to contact you directly for trade rates. One of the best webinars ever. That's nice. Fabulous destination. Hope to visit as a friend is growing Hass avocados in Uganda. So thank you very much, everyone. Sorry, you know, we really wanted to sort of capitalize on the fact that I was here. That's why we had it on the Friday. So we will, you know, be doing this again in January. If you have any friends, colleagues who want to look at it to ask any questions of Fergus in January, we'll reschedule us sometime then as well. So thanks a million to everyone. Thank you very much to Gio. Our apologies for the videos. I sent them from my WhatsApp. I probably did something wrong. Thanks a million to Fergus and to Jonathan and to Pamela in absentia, to Marcus, to Stephanie, and to everyone else who joined us here. Am I leaving anyone out? Gabriel, my God, he was the first. It seems such a long time ago. Gabriel and Emily then for helping with the camera then on the iPhone. So thanks a million. And we will be sending it out definitely. We'll try and get the videos on YouTube as well. Vandana's back in the office, so we'll be sending it out in the next few days with links to those videos that you didn't hear. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Siobhan.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.
Bye, Jonathan.
Bye-bye.